Good evening, William in here, 1799. Glad you come around. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button down there. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe anyway. And I got something I've been working on. I've been looking for the true meaning of gun control. But before we go too far in that, my heart goes out to all these platforms out there to provide a lot of information for the 2A rights, for all of us out there. I subscribe to all of them. They have great content, they have access to great information, and they pass it down to all of us. Subscribe to them. They're doing us a great favor. Keep us informed. Now, the true meaning of gun control, the origins of gun control, go right back to the founding of this country. But the interesting thing about gun control, that do we really know about it, or what it really is, shock you. The 5 pillars of gun control are interesting at the early times of our country. Discrimination, separation, isolation, slavery, or death. 5 pillars of gun control. At the time of our founders, black Africans were in our country, and they were helping fighting the Revolutionary War. And they also fought the Indian Wars. But after all that was done, they still had firearms. But when this country had its growing pains, its issues, people looked at this as an opportunity to make a name for themselves, climb above everything, you know what I mean? So what they did is they picked a section of people, society people, such as the black Africans, because we weren't quite Americans yet, and they were not considered Americans because, well, the reasons were. So what happened? So the blame game. This is their problem. Your problem is just because of them. Your problem is just because of them. Their problem is just all of them. So then there's this thing about disarmament. Early form of gun control. So they took their firearms away from them. They discriminated against them. Separation. You couldn't talk to them. Not allowed to be around them. Isolation set in. They hung out themselves. But eventually people saw that as a type of cheap workforce. So they stripped them of their property. Sent them to the south to work on fields and farms. They had no rights. When we fast forward today, gun control, the origin is pretty much the same. The 5 pillars of gun control. And these 5 pillars are discrimination, separation, isolation, prison time replaced slavery, and death. But what we know about it, in modern day, they tell you about, well, we got to keep the weapons of war off our streets. People don't need those guns. We need magazine bans. It's public safety. We need gun control. early form of gun control, right? So what these politicians do, they take the same advantage. They put fear, stoke fear in people's face. So their base can pass all that fear around. Naturally, these politicians are going to come up with magazine bans. You're allowed 10 rounds, but not them. You're allowed one gun every so many days, not them. You have all these gun-free zones, but not them. We're looking for reciprocity. They don't need reciprocity. And they can go anywhere they want with their security or with their own firearm. Now, is that fair? No. We got to jump all these hoops just to get a permission slip. Even though Heller and Bruen, these blue states controlled by the empire, are not going to go with that. They put their own judges in the robes and they put them in their courtrooms and say, look, all you have to do is say you don't want to say Heller, you don't want to say Bruen, or tell them the Supreme Court's got it all wrong. We want to keep these people disarmed. We want them disarmed. Why? We have the Constitution that protects us. We have a Bill of Rights that protects us. Not these politicians. When you look at the 18 to 21-year-olds, another classic example here of discrimination. They can go fight a war, they can go vote, but they can't have a firearm. It's got to be 21. Then he come up with this goofy nonsense that all these entrapments to catch you. And it would catch you with an illegal firearm with a threaded barrel, bayonet lug on it, or a pistol grip, or something about that rifle we don't like, and it was already banned. You have it, you're going to go to jail for 10, 15 years and pay a hefty fine. They don't have to abide by that law. Most likely they don't. They believe that the Constitution is for them, not for you, not for me. They believe the Second Amendment is not for you, not for me, but for them. So we have no constitutional rights? Must not be, because that's why they keep punching gun laws all the time. Infringement violates the Second Amendment. Also violates the Bill of Rights with the red flag laws, which are meant for us but not for them. They wrote those laws. They paid states to take them. That violates our rights. That's discrimination. So they do entrapment, discrimination, outrageous permits and fees we have to go through because the states don't believe in the Supreme Court, nor do they believe in the Constitution, nor do they believe in anything else. The empire has this ideology that as far as they're concerned, we don't have rights. Our rights are privileges. We've heard that statement quite a few times from these Democrats. But there is no such thing as privileges in the Constitution. They're rights. But that's why we made the red flag laws for. So they walk in, take your property, walk out door, you go to a court case, and Who knows what happens to you, right? They can go from state to state. Why? Because they're politicians. As we try to get reciprocity, which they don't want to cooperate with, because they don't believe that you're capable of carrying a firearm. You're not trained enough. But they don't have to worry about that. They write laws for us to obey, but they don't obey the laws which they write. Is that discrimination? They tell people that we're a threat, white supremacy and all that. You shouldn't associate with these people. Separation, right? They want to separate us from everything. And will lay traps out to entrap us, to imprison us, and pay heavy fines, and remove what rights we have. And if we don't obey, they can slick us on the ground. The 5 pillars of gun control. Has nothing to do with public safety. It's everything to do with power, control, slavery. See, the thing is, slaves didn't own property. All rights will go to the states. All property goes to the states. State control, right? States make all these goofy little laws. But the supreme law of the land is the Constitution. But they don't believe in the Constitution. The Constitution is not for us, it's for them. For law enforcement, for the military, for the politicians, but not for us. So these 18, 21 years old, right? They don't have rights neither. They're not protected under the Constitution. They're not protected under the Bill of Rights. They're not. So when we crawl through this debacle, when we crawl through this mess, we scream the Second Amendment. We scream the right of infringement. We scream all this stuff. They just thumb their nose up us and the Supreme Court. So when we look at discrimination, separation, isolation, prison time, or stick us on the ground. Remember Joe Biden, the mouthpiece of the empire. The empire gave him a message to give to us, which was basically saying that you want to take on tyrannical government. You need to buy F-18s and cruise missiles. Is that just another word saying, look, surrender your firearms? Submit? Sounds that way, huh? And not only that, maybe O'Rourke, I think was his name, he ran for president back in 2020 or 2016. Hell yeah, we're going to take your AKs. Hell yeah, we're going to take your AR-15s. Hell yeah, we're going to take your mag. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Remember that? Yeah. Understand what they're doing here. They're going to continue to play this game that somehow they're going to get away with it. That's dangerous. Remember the 5 pillars: discrimination, separation, isolation, imprisonment, and death. I'll leave you with that. Till then, I'll be back with another one. You take care.